Hello, welcome to PlayStation Access, and welcome back to the Tuesday Checklist, the weekly video where we relax on the sofa and talk about games we like. Look, Red Dead 2 is out soon, and it's hard to think about anything else, so we decided to think about those other huge games that seem to swallow all our attention, excitement, other games, and life in general like a massive black hole, which is a space reference, because here comes Dave with...
A massive game for me was Destiny. I'm sure you will all remember the exciting time that was the announcement of PS4, and kind of all tied up in that was Bungie's new game, which I'd been waiting very patiently to hear about. And it was quite mysterious, and I didn't understand it really when they announced it. I remember, I think at the PlayStation conference, maybe at E3, they showed a bit of gameplay from old Russia and getting a gun and going, cool, oh, you've got that gun. And like they were saying, you're going to know about these guns and they're going to have stories and stuff. I also got to go to Seattle, to Bungie's office before it came out, and I got to play it. Well, I didn't actually get to play it. I had to stand behind everyone else whilst they played it, and then they told me afterwards that they really liked it. You know, like... You were that guy on that trip. Like looking in a shop window at a game being played on a TV, just I think I'd really like this.
Why didn't you get to play it though?
Because there weren't enough pods. It was you know, we were sort of like wedged on at the last minute, like, you guys can come too. But then when we're on the plane, but you can't play the game. And I was so excited. I was so excited by it. Sci-fi, amazing shooting from Bungie. A whole new kind of like mechanic I didn't really understand yet about, you know, like that sort of meeting of MMO and single player, person shooting stuff, persistent world. It was just amazing. However, at this time in my life, I was also beginning a relationship with my still girlfriend, luckily. And that was also an exciting time. We were getting to know each other, and you know, you start off seeing each other irregularly, and then a bit more regularly, and then a bit more regularly. And the first warning sign, I think, was when there was a beta before the game came out, where I think you could play on the moon.
I love the moon. And
I remember it was a weekend, and you guys were talking about, you were planning to go to the moon together, and I was invited to the moon, but I couldn't come to the moon because I think I was going to see my girlfriend's family for the first time or something.
This is before my daughter was born.
Yeah.
So I remember I'm just going to
You spent a lot of time on the moon.
I spent every waking hour on the moon, and that beta was out.
Then the game came out, but I was still very much getting to know my girlfriend, still seeing her more and more regularly. Evenings now, evenings. It turns out we lived quite close to each other, like, you know, like a 10-minute walk. And so I'd get home from work, I'd make some dinner, I'd turn Destiny on, I'd be, you know, in that long flight to somewhere, maybe getting in a fire team with somebody. I'd get a little text message. What are you doing tonight? We should have dinner.
Definitely going to be coming to see you.
I'm coming over then. And this happened all the time with Destiny. And Destiny, it just exploded, apart from for me, because I kept missing out. And you guys were playing it for like hours till like 2 in the morning. You'd like start at like 8 or 9 p.m.
I'm not sure there's ever been anything like that since.
You'd get in a fire team and you would do, and it wasn't just one thing. Do you know, that's the thing. It wasn't just like, let's do the story. Like, you would do little bits of all kinds of things I didn't know about, like a strike. I don't even know what a strike is. We did a few strikes. Yeah, we've been doing, we did the, you know, the this and then that, and we've done a raid. Now we've done a raid. I was like, wait a minute, I haven't finished the story yet. And this just happened. I was just so far behind. It snowballed and snowballed and snowballed.
I remember you being quite bitter.
My character had no guns, no armor, no skills. Like, you know, you didn't unlock all your stuff for ages. Like, you know, I had like one type of grenade and one jump and stuff. The game starts at level 20. I didn't realise that, Rob, because it took me ages to get to level 20. And that's Destiny. That's my experience of it. I eventually caught up.
So my massive game, which changed everything. I'm going to talk about GTA, and I'm going to talk about...
Which one?
Well, I want to compare and contrast. Dave, you brought a bit of a personal angle to your story.
Yes.
And For me, it was I first joined like the games industry or games media right before GTA San Andreas came out. Everyone talks about the size of San Andreas, it was like this incredible experience with RPG elements and stuff. But for me, the game, I didn't really get caught up in San Andreas. I don't really know why. But what I was going to say was so many of the games that we're talking about are Rockstar games because I think partly their games are just ridiculously ambitious. And they have like this crazy attitude of just like making these enormous worlds. But also they're just brilliant at constructing, like, because they're cool, right? Because they have like a sense of what people like and they're good at kind of digging into the culture of whatever worlds they're in. They're really amazing at marketing the games and making them feel like they're going to be the biggest thing in the world, whatever. So my actual choice is GTA 4, not 5, which was arguably like a more incredible, that game is obscene, it's amazing. But it was harkening back to GTA 3, which was my big love, going back to Liberty City, seeing it in the new generation, seeing it on PlayStation 3, the powerful PlayStation 3. And just being so completely sure that that open world experience that Rockstar had, it was like their first big open world on the next generation, on PS3. So just being sure that, you know, like I'd spent so long and my mind had been so completely blown by GTA 3, the build up to exploring that same city, but with much more kind of fidelity and realism and like Philip Glass playing in the background on the radio. That hype was, even though I had then crossed that kind of barrier from, you know, as much of an insider as I will ever be, you know, like seeing how the sausage is made to a certain extent, in as much as seeing how previews are made, seeing how pre-release hype is kind of built up and stuff, that did not stop me. I remember the day that we went to visit Rockstar's offices in London and we got to see an early build of GTA 4 and just feeling, you know, I think this job makes you sometimes less excited for things because you're like, oh, I've seen things like this before, I know how this works, I'll go to the event, I'll see the game. When I get time with it at home, I might really enjoy it, but like I'm not super excited. But with GTA 4, it was like, this is definitely going to transform everything. And I think, you know, it kind of did. It was like, the bar is mad high.
Do you want to go bowling?
How long have you been waiting to say that, Rob?
10 seconds or so. I was waiting till like an epic moment.
You had a mobile phone. I remember that being amazing.
Yeah, that was the thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was
in the corner.
Mobile and being able to call up taxis and
yeah,
just like the
getting
characters.
text messages.
911. I remember writing in a preview that you could order police cars like a pizza by just calling 911.
Yeah. So good.
So many smart touches, but for me, like, it's the same with GTA 5 as well. Nothing that I did in those worlds, I think the story of 4 is, I prefer it like a great deal more than 5, but nothing in those worlds is more fun to me than just like driving around and experiencing like change from night to day, like the architecture of the place, going over a bridge and there being a nice view, or the classic, you know, stealing a plane.
Did you ever just sit in the back of a taxi and switch to
cinematic?
Just let the taxi ride play out and look at the city through the taxi window.
Yeah, and put on like the slightly spacey radio channel. Yeah, man, I did quite a lot. And it just, as like an example of just a technical thing which a group of people have spent, you know, millions of man hours making. It's incredible. Yes, that's my choice. GTA 4, it's quite good.
Okay, my massive game is Red Dead Redemption. The original Red Dead Redemption, which came out in 2010, I believe.
Wow.
I think it was May of 2010, and I remember it specifically because I had just done work experience on official PlayStation magazine. So I was taking the first steps into a brave new world. It was at a time in my life where I was really not enjoying my job that I had in London. And I was trying desperately to get into games. So I spent 2 weeks at official PlayStation magazine, and I think they just published the review of Red Dead Redemption, but I don't think it was out yet.
I've just remembered something, but you carry on.
Okay. Is it just, you're just going to spring it on me at some point in the video?
I'm going to see if you talk about it.
Okay. Anyway, it wasn't out yet, but it was in the office, and I got to play it. And this was my first experience of playing a game that wasn't out yet, and I felt so smug. Like, I was just like going, guess what I did today? I played Red Dead Redemption. They're like, oh, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, no way. It's not even out yet. I was like, that's right. Yeah. And I had to, I had to capture some footage of Red Dead Redemption for a bunch of videos that were being made on it at the time. For first play, the thing that died and the seeds grew into PlayStation. Yeah, first play. If you know what first play is, then applause, like you're hardcore. But yeah, and it was the excitement in the office was also just, you could feel it. You could feel like, oh, whoever was playing Red Dead Redemption, it would draw like a crowd of people would come over and look at the game, and it just felt, it felt so big and huge. And it was the first time, Rockstar had made Canis Canem Edit, also known as Bully, in the US, and that was sort of like the first game they'd really made with the GTA template that was not GTA. But it was sort of smaller scale. It was set in a school, and you could go into the town around the school, but it wasn't, GTA size. But Red Dead Redemption was. It was the first game they'd made that was like massive, as big in scale as any GTA game, if not bigger, but so incredibly different to GTA. And it felt like a milestone moment in gaming history. Like, it was everyone's game of the year. It was quite a few people's game of the generation. Like, I'd easily put it in my top 5 of the entire PS3 generation. It was just like perfect, so big. And they'd managed to craft this open world, which I don't think anyone had done before, that was sort of empty, but not empty. Like, the emptiness was deliberate. The emptiness was a thing you experienced, almost like, silence in a movie. 2001, for example, is something that's springing to mind. There are periods of long silence in that movie, but the silence is there for a reason. It means something. Like the emptiness of...
Would you say that the world of Red Dead Redemption is actually the main character?
No, Dave, I would never say something like that. But yes, you could argue... If I was me 5 years ago writing in a magazine, that's probably something I would say, yes. It is, the world was the thing, was the draw. And it didn't just change my gaming habits, it sort of encouraged me to watch different movies. Like, I'd never really watched spaghetti westerns or westerns before. Now all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'll watch them all. And so I just devoured, I think, all of Sergio Leone's spaghetti western catalogue.
You devoured spaghetti westerns?
Yes. Wrapped them around my spoon, shoveled them down. But I just got obsessed with the Dollars trilogy with Clint Eastwood in those movies. The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. I was like, oh my God, this is great. And after doing my work experience, I went back to my other job in London. My actual job, my only job. And everyone in that office was playing it as well. Everyone was talking about it. And it was a small TV channel that I worked for. And me and a group of about 3 or 4 other people, instead of doing our work for the TV channel, we decided we'd make a video about Red Dead Redemption, which I think you can still find on YouTube. We envisaged it being the start of like a big channel. It was called like VGM. And it was going to be a collision of video games and movies. Nice. And so we did this video sort of comparing Red Dead Redemption to all of its cinematic influences. And I just remember feeling incredibly excited at the time that I was involved in, I wasn't just consuming the game, I was sort of involved in some way in the cultural movement of the game. It felt, in
the discourse.
Yes. I wasn't just a passive consumer of it, I was sort of almost on that train. Anyway, Red Dead Redemption, it was massive and it changed my life. Not just my gaming life, but it was sort of the thing that I rode into the games industry. And a year or so later, I started work on Access. Maybe thanks to Red Dead Redemption, there you go.
It's got to be Skyrim, hasn't it? It's got to be Skyrim. What else can it be?
Yeah.
Let me just wind back a little bit and just say that before Skyrim came Oblivion, obviously. And Oblivion came out in, what, 2007?
Yeah.
That was my first real game of that kind. It was like a big open world Western RPG, I guess. Probably the first game I really fell in love with, really enjoyed and loved playing it. And I absolutely milked it dry. I mean, as they say, it goes on forever. It doesn't, because I found the end of it. Every location, every dungeon, every seabed, every mountain, I just for 5 years straight, I just played it. And I finished it, and I played it again. I finished it, and I played it again. I just could not stop playing. I was obsessed with that game. And then this announcement came that there was going to be a sequel to it, Skyrim. And I think the first announcement came maybe in E3. It was just like a trailer or something. And you just, when a big game like that gets announced, when I was the age I was then, you just sort of absorb it. You watch the trailer, and then you just want to watch it again, because that's all you can do. And the way that the internet ran then, there wasn't like all these like dissection videos and like trailer analysis. It was just the trailer and maybe just a paragraph. This game's been announced. So that's all you could do. You could just watch the trailer and just stare at it and watch it again. And then I started to work in games. I started at the same time as you, Dave.
Yep.
And you were also a big fan of the Elder Scrolls series.
Yep.
So that was what our friendship was kind of based on, is the announcement of Skyrim. And I just remember there being a sort of a hubbub in the office. This game was coming. And you know, when a big game like that gets announced in an environment that works with games, it's a big deal, because everyone needs to be all hands on deck. Needs to be a lot of coverage, a lot of videos need to be made for it. And that was going to be the first real big thing for us to do as new employees at this company, was to cover Skyrim. And then we heard there was a review copy somewhere in the office. And we had to go and see it in action. I mean, we weren't anywhere near you, Rob, being able to play it for Red Dead, but we could go and watch it be played. Yeah. I think we just snuck off to where it was being played. We found out who was playing it and just kind of timidly stood maybe 10, 20 feet behind them, just watching in silence, in awe.
I literally asked him the question, is it good?
What was the answer?
It's very good.
It's very good.
Because different magazines used to get different games at different times. So
was it Edge you had it first?
No, it was PC Gamer.
Because sometimes you'd like go over, you know, someone would be like leaning back on their chair, and then you'd be like, oh, is this new game? And they'd be like, yeah, this is new game.
Yeah.
Oh, this? Yeah. Have you guys not got it? No. Oh, yeah.
I just remember that every bit of information that came out about it, I just absorbed it. I couldn't get enough of it. There were times where I would just type Skyrim into Google and just wait to see what hit me, because I just needed to find more information out about it. And then the day it was released, you and I, Dave, and a few other people decided we were going to go out on our lunch break.
I was there. Don't forget
Rob
me.
came. Oh, did you come as well, Rob?
Yeah, Rob was there.
Well, we didn't invite you, Rob. You just came. You just... And Rob came as well. Yeah. And we all decided we were going to go out at lunch and buy a physical copy of Skyrim. And at first I thought, it's a bit much. I don't really want to do that. I'll get it at the weekend. It'll be fine. Yeah. But as the morning progressed, I thought, I can't wait. I just have to go. Yeah. I need to physically have it, even though it means I won't be able to play it until the weekend starts. Yeah. Just to have it at lunchtime. We walked into HMV. We all had it. We had a picture taken outside HMV because we were so excited to have it. We posed. 5 of us stood in a line on the high street just with our copies.
With their new copy of Skyrim.
Smiling. And
you know, you said how you got the game but you couldn't play it to the weekend.
Yeah.
But the great thing about an Elder Scrolls game is in the box there's a map. So you can open
Of course, there's the physical map.
And you can get the map out.
Yeah.
So you can wonder at what these places are like. What you're going to
tease yourself even more.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you open the game and start playing it and it's incredible. What a great game. There's few games that came out, what is it now, 7 years ago? Yeah. It's still on the front page of Reddit like twice a week. Look at this cool thing I found in Skyrim. Look at this amazing new place I found. It's amazing. What an amazing game Skyrim is.
Yeah. This is the moment that I should bring up the thing that I remembered, or half remembered. Was it Red Dead Redemption at this time that inspired you to buy some cowboy boots?
No, Dave. I already own the cowboy boots from years before.
No game was that big.
Did
you get them back out for Red Dead?
No, I didn't. In fact, I don't even know where they are. They cost me a lot of money, and I don't know where they are, Dave, I'm afraid. I'd love to find them. They're proper, like, you know, big.
Yeah.
I got them on. Bought them on Oxford Street in a proper store.
Yeah.
They were really good quality cowboy boots as well. Yeah. Made a great noise when you walked, like
wipe clean.
Wipe clean. Yeah.
Did they have like spurs and buckles on?
No.
Okay.
They had that cool heel though, the cool heel that sort of went around like that and came in. You know the sort of one I'm talking about.
Cowboy boots.
Yeah. You always know when Rob walks into a room.
And also when he walked out of the room in a bit of a strop. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments what your massive games that changed everything are, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all our videos.
for the players.